All right, so we are back. We have a great one today. JD, how are you today?
Man, it's all good. Post Thanksgiving week. Everybody trying to get back right, man.
I know it's a busy one, but we had to do this episode today. I'm really excited to bring to you Carl Farrow. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm excited. So, Carl, tell the people what you do. I think this is a little bit different. I'm really excited to chop it up with you today. Literally chop it up with you. This is going to be a good one. Tell the people a little bit about what you're doing today.
I've got a nutritional food business. It's called Sunfare, and we provide and deliver meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. They're all made fresh every day. They're delivered in a cooler bag. They're packed on ice, safety sealed. Everything's cooked well enough to eat cold, and we deliver them, at night while you're asleep. So when you wake up in the morning, you got your meals for the day, and we started out in the entertainment industry. I'll kind of get into that as we start talking, but it's grown. We're 21 years old. We started in 1997, so this is our 21st
Get out of
year.
here. 21 years.
Crazy.
Wow. How did you get in? Well, we're going to get into the story in a minute, but I think one of the interesting things about you is your clientele is so diverse. I mean, we know that you're working with athletes, celebrities. Describe some of the stuff you're doing right now.
It's my phone is like I think I have 5,500 contacts in my phone, just people that I deal with. But we do. I probably do about 60 guys for combine for the NFL. We work with. We have a business in Arizona and one in California. I've got an 11,000 square foot kitchen downtown in LA, and then we've got a 10,000 square foot kitchen in Arizona. So we do LA County, Orange County, Ventura, Phoenix, and Scottsdale. But we do all 15 teams that do spring training for Major League Baseball in Arizona. We work with them. We do about 60 guys for combine for the NFL, and we had 24 guys in the NBA draft this class.
So you were literally controlling, I would say, nearly everyone in sports what they're eating right now. Is that right?
We try. Definitely in the off season, yes.
Right. And so describe like what exactly this is. Like why are they doing meals with you right now?
Well, listen, in any industry, everything's on demand, right? And people want people don't want to have to think. They just want to know that what they're getting is right. It's the right amount of calories. It's fuel for your body, right? Because that helps with recovery. It helps with training, nutrition, everything. It's all rolled into one. So what if they know that if they come to Sunfare, they're going to get the right meals. It's going to taste good. It's got to taste good, and it's going to get them the fuel and the things that they need to.
How did you? And we're gonna get into your story, I promise, because I know it's a good story. I'm really looking forward to digging in there. Mm-hmm. I can see Jordan nodding right now. Mm-hmm. But how did you get? I think our audience is gonna be really interested from a business perspective. How did you get to be the preferred vendor? You're feeding mouths right now. How did this happen?
Well, we started this company. I graduated from University of Kansas in '94, and myself and my buddy moved out here. I think he had a B2200 Mazda truck, which my motorcycle was in the back of that. We had 2 mattresses stuck up on the side of it, tied up, and I had a Bronco too, full of stuff, and we made it as far as Oklahoma. Went through a rainstorm, dumped the mattresses behind a Motel 6 or something like that, and we got to California, but I was 24 when we started this business.
Why LA? Were you actors? Party?
I hate the cold.
The Bronco? The OJ?
I had a
connection? Like, what was this?
I used to do a little bit of modeling back in the day, and I had
the truth comes out. The truth comes out.
I used to be in the Jones store. It was a newspaper, Sunday paper all the time, and I had somebody come in and said he was cousins with the Pointer Sisters, and they were calling to see about putting me in a music video. I was going to go to law school. That's all I needed to hear. I was done.
All right. So it was law school or the Pointer Sisters?
So I told my dad, look, Dad, I'll put the enrollment on hold. I'm just going to go out there for, a year. He goes, a year? I'm like, all right, 6 months.
All right.
No looking back.
All right.
I mean, when we always talk about entrepreneurs, it's just the light bulb hit the other day, trying to, come up with episodes, people to talk to. I'm like, man, I know this guy, Carl. That's the ultimate entrepreneur story. Like,
listen, I was 24. So if you were going to pay me for
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
the answer was yes. Okay. You're going to pay me for something else, the answer is yes. So we literally came from a place of yes. Okay.
I mean, I think you had it made. You're like 24 years old, male model, driving out with the Bronco 2, coolest car in the world, and you're ready to live life, and then you ended up doing meals.
We did. And the thing about it is that when we started this, it's a good story of how we started, but my business partner would sit there and he'd say, look, man, if we can trick them into thinking we're professional, because we're 24, we don't have any money.
right.
If we could trick them into thinking we're professional, we'll be professional. We keep tricking them. Pretty soon, you got some years under your belt, you're professional.
Who was the big celebrity or athlete you started with? Like, what put you on the map?
Okay, so we had a training and nutrition business. Okay, had about 9 trainers that work for us.
That's what you started.
That's what I started.
Okay.
Yeah, and my business partner was like Mr. USA 1990. He was like 5'2", 205 pounds. Some little short guy, just big hard charge, but a good guy. And so we used to teach nutrition. We'd sell 12-week programs. People would come in. We'd get them into shape, do cardiovascular training, weight training, nutrition counseling on them. And
And did you get into that because you were like, man, I know I can make money?
I got into that because I had one contact when I came out here. My best friend's mom handed me a phone number. I called this lady when I came out here, and she goes, come meet me. So I show up at her door. She goes, take your shirt off. Take my shirt off. All right. So don't know why. Okay. She goes,
It's funny how guys will do that. Like if you just
Take your shirt
ask,
off.
okay,
Done.
okay, done. All right.
she sends me a phone number, hands me a phone number, some other guy. So go see this person. I go see this person. I walk in the door, knock on the door, take your shirt off. I take my shirt off. He goes, all right, you're a little fat. You need to lose a little weight. Join a gym. So that got me in a stretch video. And then when I did the video, they took me in a hair salon to get my hair done for the video. And I ended up meeting some guys that own a gym. And they said, hey, we've got a nutrition program that we used to have that we want to start back up, and we think you could run it for us. So they paid for me to get certified to teach nutrition. That turned into a training and nutrition business. And then one day we had a woman come in, and, had a bodybuilder who was a business partner, and we had an office that was 4x6 in a private training gym in West Hollywood. And so you can see it's no bigger than that rug in front of us. And my business partner came in, and in the top of the trash, he saw a note with a piece of paper with somebody who wanted food. And it's like, why is this in the trash, right? So he called the woman back, and she came in and said, listen, my husband's really, really busy. He doesn't have time to work out, but he needs to, I want him to be healthy. And if you can make him healthy, and can you just provide the meals for him? And if you can get him healthy and on the plan, you'll have everybody in town on your program. So her husband was Lorenzo de Bonaventura, who was president of Warner Brothers at the time. And
That's a good note to pick
that
up.
was our first client. And
So
then,
that was the break
yeah,
right there.
and then our second client was Joel Silver.
Wow.
Okay. And our third client was Sandra Bullock. So,
And this was like 90s Sandra Bullock.
yeah.
Yeah. Like fire 90s.
Back when we used to do body fat and measurement testing on everybody.
Did the next two clients come from the president of Warner?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, gotcha.
So we, at that point, hired we knew 2 caterers, a guy and a girl. Naturally, we called the girl. She was hot.
Did you know what you had at that point?
No idea.
No idea.
No
Yeah,
idea.
you're
No,
just like
we're-
running with it.
Just yes. So we taught her the nutrition. She came up with meals and a menu and stuff like that. We paid her for 2 weeks in advance. And a week into it, Joel Silver calls John, my business partner, and says, hey man, I don't like the food. you got to do something, and this girl's got to go because she's trying to cut you guys out of the deal. He goes, but I like you. So we got rid of her. She wouldn't give us our money back for the second week. That was all the money we had. So I think we got a credit card, and you could get $500 out on the credit card. So we borrowed the cash out on the credit card, called the guy, taught him the nutrition. He made food for the second week. They liked it. And then, 9 months later, his boyfriend was selling bags on the side around town. So we got rid of him. And I've been in the restaurant and bar business my whole life, just didn't know that that's what I was going to be doing.
Right.
And it kind of went from there. Once we were started, we were started.
Wow. So basically mid-90s, LA, you find something that works, and then all of a sudden, word of mouth, right?
All word of mouth. So you could literally trace the family tree, from every single client. And the Bonaventures are they'd send us Christmas cards every year. I mean, they're still friendly. We're still friends to this day. So, I mean, the people that we met and those people were all good people. And, a lot of those clients are still on today or will come back on. Joel Silver would stop, but he'd make us go teach his chef the nutrition. And then they'd have a private chef. And then when they get rid of that one, we'd have to come back in.
So what's involved when you say the nutrition? Like, what's involved there? Like, how do you turn that into a product? I think the audience would be interested in hearing how that happened.
So here's the thing. At the time, the Zone diet was really popular, right? So my business partner was teaching Zone nutrition, running programs. People would buy a nutrition program for $400 or $500, right? And then they'd buy a 6-week program. We'd teach the nutrition. Cook your meals on Saturday or Sunday for the week, and you teach them the style of nutrition. So one thing that we've done and that's made us successful over the course of time is we were never married to one particular diet or one type of program. We just came from a place of yes, right? And you treat each client as if they're your only client because that you were it, right? So I'm always going to take your call. We're always going to do whatever you want. We're going to say yes, and we would write notes down on pieces of paper for each individual person, and then you're having dreams. Did we give Joel Silver green beans because he hates green beans, right?
Yeah, sure.
So after a while,
explain to everyone who Joel Silver is, by the way.
He
I was wondering that the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's the guy who produces all of the movies for Warner Brothers. So your
legendary producer.
Rockies, Rambos, The Matrix. He produces all of the big budget action films from Warner Brothers.
Like Hollywood mogul times 50.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that when we were trying to get money to get our first kitchen, we put together a numbers package, and I think we were asking for like $75,000. We went to Joel Silver and showed him the package. We went to Sandra Bullock, showed her the package, trying to get money, and he goes, I make movies. That's what I do. I make movies. I'm not in the food business.
Yeah.
So it's not for me, but thank you.
Right.
That's what he does. He makes movies, and he makes really good movies. So,
what did Sandra Bullock say?
She was interested. Listen, nobody ended up giving us any money. So either it was a bad deal or we were young. Right. But 21 years later, we've got, we're still here, and we're not so young anymore. It was funny because we used to be, I was 24 years old, and the people, when we finally started hiring employees, they were all older than us. And we had the hardest time getting anybody to stick with us or to stay because they didn't like taking direction from kids, basically.
Yeah.
So
what was the key to bossing around old people?
Not trying to boss them around.
There you go.
All right.
The key to anything, key to success is communication, right? With it doesn't matter if it's clients, with people, with employees, with spouse. If you communicate and tell them what you need, or you listen to what they need, then you can deliver. If you're not, and that's what we did. We just listened to see what people need. We didn't have a business plan to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We said, Yes. You said, hey, I want to have meals and this is what I want. And then he says, hey, I want to have meals, but I want them like this. And then you said, hey, I just want a lunch and a dinner. So we put together a program that we could make meals of any size. You can get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ounces of protein. You could get a fruit, a salad, half a cup of fruit, a whole cup of fruit. You could get it with the starch, no starch, up to 5 ounces of starch. We could customize anything. And like I said, by the time you're having dreams, if you gave somebody green beans or not, we said, okay, we need to make a computer program, because we had taken all the database programs, ACT. You remember ACT software?
Of course.
So we put everybody into ACT, okay? And we had that program modified so much that we thought we could get more out of it. So we called ACT and we paid for a representative to come out and look and see what we did to see if we could make this bigger. And the guy was like flabbergasted at how much we'd done with it. He'd never seen that software do what we did with it. To keep track of people.
So ACT software was like a very early database, like CRM, customer relationship management software, right? You could keep track of people basically, but it was very raw.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
And so you were just killing
We
it.
were killing it. We were killing it. So once we realized that we couldn't do anything else with that, we decided we were going to have to build a computer program. So we got 3 bids, and of course I didn't want to do this one, but we took the guy who was the most expensive. And it was supposed to take 3 months to build a computer program.
Right.
And that started in 1999. We started to build a computer program in 1999. It was supposed to take 3 months. That guy still works for us today. And that's the transition, because now we're not a food business, we're a technology business. I mean, ultimately.
Yeah. Did you see that coming?
No. And I probably fought my business partner on that the whole way, because I'm like, okay, we're done. When can we be done? When can we be done? And you never can, because there's always something to do. And we never got a big injection of cash from a company, to say, we're going to just build it out and here's what it's going to be. We always used our own money. Mm-hmm. So we just kept reinvesting back into the company, because listen, I didn't need much to live. We didn't have kids, and we just bet on ourselves and bet on ourselves and bet on ourselves. So each year, life got a little better. We got a little bit bigger, and we kept investing in the business. So we had, 860 square feet, and then that turned into 1,100 square feet, and then that turned into 2,300 square feet, and then we got a real kitchen downtown. I mean, it took us 2.5 years to find the spot that we have. It used to be Wild Oats food kitchens. They used to make salsas and all that stuff for the grocery stores. But when we first started to grow, there was a company in New York called, Zone Perfect or Zone something. And we were called the Delivery Zone. And so they started trading off of our name. And this craziest thing ever, this is how we're pre-internet now. So when you would need a phone number before you had a smartphone, right? You'd call 411, right? And you'd say, hey, can I get the number to the Delivery Zone? And so then they'd give you the phone number, right? And they'd charge you 95 cents or something like that.
They would actually get charged for that, which is crazy.
Yeah. Charge 95 cents, whatever it was. Well, this guy went to information and he got his phone number replaced ours for our company.
That's
don't know how he did it. Mm-hmm. Total crook. Okay. And so when you'd call and ask for, Carl or John, it would ring to their business. They'd say, oh, he's not here yet. He's not here right now. Can I help you? And they, for, probably a year, we're like, how come we're not growing right now? What's going on? Something's wrong. And we called 411 and got them, right? And then our materials were straight plagiarized from them. So we ended up getting in a lawsuit with them, and the guy was like, he's an Italian guy, and he's like, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna, I want you to figure. He took us to breakfast one day, this guy, and he goes, I want you to figure out how you can go to work for me. Like he just thought we were going to hand over our business to him and we were going to work for him.
Right.
Like, I don't know where you're from, dude, but
Right.
that's
Right.
not how it works.
You from the show me state.
Right. Yeah. And last time I checked, there's Italian people in Kansas City too. So I don't know. But it didn't work out quite the way he planned. And then he told our attorney, he said, I'm going to wallpaper your office and legal bills. Well, he went through 3 attorneys and we ended up settling and he went away. So, you can't judge the size of the
Right.
Right.
fight in the dog, right?
Right.
Or the heart.
So let's fast forward to today. Tell us about with the athletes and the celebrities and the people you're working with, what are they looking for today? Like, what's happening today? What's the trend today? Are you doing a lot of paleo? Are you doing a lot of something else? Like, what's happening in your space?
So it depends on what sport you're in, right? If you're a football player, you're going paleo, you're going dairy free, you're going gluten free. If you got to run a 40, most football players are trying to lean out, right, and get faster. If you're a linebacker and you're trying to grow, then we're adding starch. It's kind of like this. When you're trying to lean out, the less legs, the better. So fish swims. It's lean. It's good for you. It's fast. It makes you lean and fast. Chicken, 2 legs. That's number 2. Beef, 4 legs. Have it less because it's low and slow, right?
Got it.
When you're trying to gain size, you're going to want to eat red meat because you're trying to gain. You want to be slow and bulky, right? So you can eat red meat 3 or 4 times a week, right? And then go from there. So there's different methods for different. Your guys, basketball players, are kind of a different breed because they're like gazelles. Those guys run and run and run. So they don't have the restrictions that other guys do. And most basketball players have a unique palate, right? Like they don't eat vegetables at all.
Straight up. That's a fact.
They don't even know, I don't even know what a vegetable is.
You heard it here first.
that's a
NBA
no-go.
players, no vegetables.
No vegetables.
No veggies.
So you kind of have to cater to the market of where you are. Football players understand the business of nutrition and the longevity. The more I put in my body and do it right, and so do basketball players. But
So this is interesting. So NFL guys are actually more sophisticated in some sense than the basketball.
when it comes to your body and nutrition, and maybe because they're a little bit older coming out, but they take a beating, right? So you have to have good nutrition for recovery, right?
I think it comes down to the training. Me and my guys always talk about that, whether they're football or basketball. Like training, getting prepared for a basketball season, depending on what position you are, can be much different than the football. Like there's certain basketball players who might not touch a weight, who might not put any emphasis on strength and conditioning. They just need to make sure they can hit a corner 3 or block a shot or something like that. A football player, your body has to be prepared for like you said, the beating you're going to take. You have to lift weights. You have to be fast. You have to be strong. So they're much more educated. Like me personally, everything that I've learned through sports nutrition usually came from my football friends. They told me about the supplements. They told me about the different diets. Like basketball players, like you say, we'll wake up, eat a burger and fries, and just go hoop. Like it's just different.
Is that peanut butter and jelly thing real in the NBA, Jordan?
What, like pregame?
I heard PB&J is like there's like a thing
big.
around it.
That's
Yeah.
big for sure. Pre-game meal, give you some nice carb, sugar, energy before a game. But I mean, I know so many guys that chicken fingers and fries, like, and a Sprite before the game, like whatever. Like, it's just different.
I'll tell you this, because we had so many guys from you guys this year, I had the opportunity to talk to some of them, and then here's the difference. Before when they first got on the court, because they'll come and they'll start eating and they'll start training before they really get on the court.
Yeah.
And the guys noticed a difference in their wind and how well how much they could run.
For sure.
They weren't knocked out on the first runs.
Absolutely.
Because they had better nutrition. They had proper nutrition. And so some of them saw the benefits right away. Yeah. And because of that, it clicked.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things when you do get on a program like Sunfair, it's like, oh, this is why people do this stuff. Like, And it obviously is an age thing. The guys I was just referring to are usually like young, just coming out.
Yeah.
Once you get to be like a 30-year-old vet, probably got some education.
Carl, do you have to teach people, or is that not part? It's like they're already converted, so to speak, by the time they reach you, or do you have to end up doing some of the nutrition education?
No, we definitely do that. So we I mean, we do the 40-man camps, 40-man camps for the Cubs, okay? And we would go in and literally, it's their 40-man roster. It's all their prospects and all the guys that they're for the last 4 or 5 years, one in December and one in January. So we would literally go in and have like a nutrition counseling session with them and sit down and explain how it works and how they need to eat and meal times and stuff like that. And the more knowledge you give people, the better off they are. So, I mean, I try to make myself as available as possible for people because, our office hours are from 8 to 4. These guys are on the court from 8 to 4. That's their office hours for athletes. And
Right.
So I figure, when they're eating, they're texting me. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Right? So I let them know right away, hey, look, you can call me, text me anytime you want, and then I'll send them texts. And a lot of times it's 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night, and we're sitting there going back and forth, and that's cool because that's when they're eating, that's when they're playing video games or doing whatever they're doing, and we can actually have a conversation.
Are you preparing special meals for certain people?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you share any that you can talk about?
I mean, I literally, I'll have guys that'll be, okay, I want the Kobe burger for lunch, I want the surf and turf for dinner, and they pick a breakfast, and they go every day. And then 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, they'll go, okay, change my lunch to this. When guys get in a pattern,
Yeah.
we're like a machine. I can eat the same thing every day. You go to the same 2 restaurants all the time. You got your favorite dish on the menu. You got your backup.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. If you're getting good nutrition, and they know it's working, and they're seeing gains and growth and stuff like that, they do it.
And how is this translated into your weekend warriors, your amateur athletes, your CrossFit warriors? Our producer Alex is a CrossFit. He's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So how are those types of people working with you now? Do you work with them?
Absolutely. Yeah, all the time. See, the cool thing is that people, this is the transition from regular to technology. You can literally just go right on your phone.
I was just about to tell you to get into that.
Yeah,
Like the
you
whole-
can click on Sunfair and log in. And the cool thing is, we do everything. We got smart. You eat with your eyes, right? So
So this is cool. So right now, for our podcast audience, we're actually looking at the Sunfair app, and they just make everything super easy to order any sort of meal you're looking for, right? A
Right.
meal plan.
So meal plan.
Alex, you think we could edit to be able to scroll this?
So it's really cool because literally, so I have a signature plan, I have a family dinner plan, right? And I can click right here. If I want to talk to my counselor, there was a picture of her. I can email her right from there.
So your counselor is the person that can answer questions for you about the meals and so forth?
She can answer questions. She can turn you on and off for meals. If you're going to go on a meeting, if you're going to go out of town, whatever you're going to do, she can add, subtract ingredients to your dislikes because we give you a list of all of our ingredients. You check off the things that you don't like. And then we build a menu for the month based around your likes and dislikes. So if you want to be paleo style, if you want to be high protein, if you want to be a keto friendly, a keto diet, which is high protein.
Yeah. All personalized.
Yeah, completely customized. So
Is keto bullshit?
it's Atkins. It's modern.
Is it sustainable?
Atkins got you into ketosis, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and long term, Atkins, once you've gotten past, so Atkins gets you into ketosis. That's the keto diet, ketosis, right? So you're cannibalizing fat for energy. Once you're in the maintenance phase, it's basically moderation, right? It's a little bit of fruit, it's a little bit of salad, okay, green vegetables, and lean protein.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just pretty much every diet comes back to one thing: lean protein, right? A little bit of fruit, vegetables, salad. So salad the size of 2 hands put together, right? Cup of vegetables, cup of starch, right? If you're going to do it, and protein the size of the palm of your hand, right? Basketball players got big hands, right? People got small hands, don't need as much protein.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. So, about the thickness of the, the palm of your hand here is how thick your protein needs to be, and the size of the palm of your hand. If it's fish, you can go the length of your hand from your fingers to the base.
Just common sense.
It's common sense, literally. And that's what all nutrition comes down to.
How has the vegan wave impacted Sunfair? Do you do any vegan stuff?
We do. Listen.
Yeah, speak free, man. We told you, speak free. Give me your opinion.
I mean, if you're one of those 30 people on the planet that really cares to be vegan, we can do it.
Okay.
My daughter was allergic to dairy and eggs, for 8 years. So she was vegan, not by choice. And then I found out she was nailing string cheese here and there. And I'm like, maybe we should have her tested. Right. But, listen, there's a plant-based craze now. All right. And that's great.
Right.
But if you're trying to get lean, that's great because there's no protein. There's no significant animal protein there.
Right.
So those people can do plant-based. And when you do plant-based, man, you go to the bathroom. It flushes your system out, and it's smooth and easy and like effortless.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Do that every other day if you really need to do it for a couple of weeks. Get right, and then go back to it because if you're an athlete, you're going to shrink.
Right. It's not sustainable.
And quite frankly, there's a whole host of plant-based bodybuilders out there but I'm junior, and they got Mr. USA, and then you got Mr. Junior Olympics. I don't know. They're not the same size.
Right.
One of these is, one of these pictures is not like the other.
Right. Protein creates size, is what you're saying.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have it for a certain amount of time, I've seen people that have had health issues that went plant-based for so long just because of the things it does in your body. I think it's great. I think it works. I've done it. But I did the every other day, all vegetables one day, and then protein and vegetables the next day, and do that for a while.
Would you say there's a consistent theme throughout your career? Like what's the business secret? This podcast is called Chance Bending. It's about sort of bending the odds to work in your favor, taking control of your life and making your way. You've made your way, right? You started as a young 24-year-old guy, and now you're here. I mean, just phenomenally successful, changing people's lives, feeding, more than half of all professional athletes, it feels like. Like, what's the business secret here? Like, what can people take away from this?
If my phone rings, I answer it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make it that simple. I grew up, and my dad was an electrical contractor. His phone rang. He'd take the call, right? If it was Christmas, if it was whatever, if somebody had a problem and they needed help, he'd go help them. And I was the guy who held the flashlight or, handed them tools. Mm-hmm. So I learned how to work and how to, you got to go show up every day. You got to talk to people. So I if my phone rings, I answer it, because if you don't take the calls, then what's going to happen? You're going to call somebody else.
I can back that statement up just as a consumer client of Sunfair. Like, when I initially got introduced to you, it was through Dr. Craig Sanchez, a physical therapist of mine that I used to go to up in Calabasas area. And my younger sister, Erin, moved out here 2 years ago to start law school at Pepperdine. And she was out here by herself at the time. And, law school, you have no time but for law school. So she needed meals, and I usually reach out to Craig to consult with him about, all health needs. And he was like, I got the perfect guy. And, initially I'm thinking like, all right, I did a little research. I looked at Instagram. I looked the website up. I'm like, oh, these guys are big time. But I think I heard about you before also.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking initially like, okay, he tells me like, this is the owner of Sunfair. You know how it's gonna be. This is a big time coming. I'm not thinking this guy is gonna hit me back or anything like that. Or if he does, it's gonna be, you know, sporadically and it's gonna take a while. But to his credit, just like he's saying, like the number one thing I think in their business is just customer service. Like I could text this guy at midnight and he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, no problem. I'll give you ribeyes next week." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's so powerful. It resonates with me because I come from tech world where everyone wants to sit behind a screen and just manipulate the code to just ring the cash register. Yet they don't want to actually do the work of talking to the customer. And it's the talking that creates all of the opportunity, especially if you're just getting started, right? Like you need to talk to people so that you can listen to understand how to better serve them. And so what you're saying just resonates so powerfully with me, which is you're still doing that 24 years later. And it's a value you've built for yourself.
Right. And it's one that I try to instill in my kid because, you know, you got to pass something along. And that's what I'm trying to show her. You got to take the phone call. You got to, you know, treat everybody the same, you know, because you don't know, somebody you might think is a dork now is not going to be 10 years from now. So, you know, don't be like that.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
Give everybody the time of day because you never know how life plays out and what happens.
So what's the future for Sunfair? What does 2019 look like for you guys?
2019 is exciting. Number one, because it's a new year. Our business is cyclical, right? First quarter is everybody's got New Year's resolutions.
Right.
So fourth quarter is our slowest quarter. Everybody goes on Thanksgiving break, and then there's a couple of weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and by December 14th, 15th, you're thinking holiday party and gifts.
Right.
So, you know, we pretty much shut down. But everybody's got a New Year's resolution. You know, if you're playing football, as soon as your bowl games are over, you've hired an agent, right? If you're doing it legal. And
we're not afraid to go there here.
I'm just saying.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
I don't know. But if your bowl games finish and you hire an agent, so
February.
yeah,
February.
you know, it depend. You know, end of December into January.
Oh yeah.
Right now, bowl games finish, and they're making phone calls, so they're wanting to get started because they got the draft coming up, and then you have the NFL draft. You got pro days that go in there, and then you have spring training that hits. You know, March 1st, March to April, spring training starts, and then soon after that, you got basketball pre-draft.
I feel like you could be a Las Vegas sports gambling tool. You know who's fat. You know who's in shape.
Sometimes I'm watching ESPN. I'm like, yeah, that dude's not going to be there. He's hurt, and then they'll show it. It'll come up. You know,
we're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
We're going to Vegas, my friend.
Unfortunately, I don't gamble. Vegas is my favorite place to go on the planet. I go there 3 or 4 times a year. I spend the same amount of money. I just don't gamble.
You look like a guy who has a good time.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
That is my happy place.
Yeah.
Sure.
And these athletes must love you. I mean, you must be, everywhere you go, you must get love like that.
You know, it's funny now because I'll sign guys up and date of birth and they're like 96.
Right.
Yeah.
I graduated college in 94.
Right.
It kind of shows my age. I think I used to be cool. Now I think I look like an old guy, but I don't feel old. You know, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, Carl, thank you so much for being with us today.
I got a few questions.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
I got a few
hit us up.
questions.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever asked you this. I know it's pretty simple to go from entertainment to sports, but what was the initial thing that got you into sports? What was the client?
Rick Fox.
Oh, wow.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Fox. He was married to.
Vanessa Williams.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they were clients, and so he had done the food. They'd both gotten food for a long time, and he got injured when he was playing for the Lakers, and he went and he did his rehab work in Arizona at Athletes Performance, okay, which is now Exos.
Yep.
And he told Amanda Carlson, who's their like their lead nutritionist, told her about us, and this was probably 15 years ago, and we had just expanded into Arizona, and she called me, got my number from him, and so I went out there. We were just expanding out there, and I went and saw her, and talked to her, and she said, because I was trying to get our food into Athletes Performance in Arizona, and they had a little private chef that cooked their meals there in peanut butter and jelly. They made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches like all day long.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
It goes full circle now, the peanut butter and jelly. Makes me feel like college in my fraternity house. That was the one thing they kept out all the time on the table was peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
So she said, hey, look, we're expanding in California, and that they opened up in the Home Depot Center, right, in Carson. So she sent me out there. I met a guy named Charlie Wright, and dude's the nicest guy on the planet. He ended up working for us after them for quite some time, and that's how I got into the athletes. Is from Rick Fox. He referred Amanda to us, and then we started providing food for all of the athletes that went through Athletes Performance at the Home Depot Center. So much to the fact that we were part of their initial presentation. So I gave her a menu of like 10 different lunch items, and then when she's doing the intro, we'd come up in there, here's nutrition, and then they'd hand you a lunch, and you'd start eating lunch, and this is what you're going to do for food, and literally that's how it started.
Wow.
Yeah, I always wondered that. Did you most recently, like when I think I might have saw a special on you guys? Did you guys do Kevin Love? Yeah. Like when he was fat Kevin Love.
You're responsible for that?
We are, and we did.
That's big time.
We've got a
That is
relationship
big
with
time.
him. We Kevin Love is a cool guy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, when he came out, he was at UCLA for 1 year. We fed him going into the draft.
Okay.
And he lost a bunch of weight.
Right.
And he loved it. And that guy went out and told everybody before it was even popular
That's
to
how I
do.
knew.
He told everybody about Sunfair.
Right.
And they wrote articles about us. Now somebody does that, they're charging you. Right? But he was just cool and just told everybody about Sunfair and what a difference the nutrition made and how.
Well, you transformed him. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great story
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
And every time I see him, I say hi, and he's just a solid guy from start to finish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously had skill. He had incredible skills, but he went to like an all-star. He became an all-star, I would say, in my opinion, because of this.
Right.
Yeah, and we still feed him.
Yeah.
Every off season, he's here. He stays in a hotel, and we deliver to the hotel every day.
An incredible story.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
big time. I'm interested, like a tech conversation, like Ben, that's his world, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, what do you know, like the background of like the software you guys use? Like how did that develop? What was the system you said back that you first used
ACT.
to now?
Yeah.
Like,
So our program was written in Access, right?
Yeah.
And that was a database that was Microsoft database, and then the back end was SQL. Am I going there?
You're in the right place.
Okay.
I don't like talking about it.
It was never supposed
gnarly.
to die. It was never going to go away. You could never fill it up. Well, quote unquote. Eventually, Microsoft needed to make more money, so they changed the software. They stopped supporting SQL, right?
Yeah.
So you had to go into the next version of software. So
It was like the Force upgrade.
right, you had to rewrite your stuff to go that way. And then if they didn't get you there, they'd get you with now my servers are no good, right? So I was either upgrading a server, changing from SQL to something else, and then you had to go to the cloud. Like technology, look at your phones. You got a different phone every 2 years for a reason, right? And the new ones are cool as hell. Right. So all of the things that you do, they all build on each other. And the funny thing is we think we're a technology business because you can log in and look at your meals and you can, for instance, I just click menu detail on this day. It tells you I'm getting Chipotle glazed barbecue, Chipotle glazed salmon with cauliflower and broccoli. I'm getting a baby spinach salad. I'm getting a mixed berry bowl and mashed sweet potatoes. Okay. Let's just say I don't want to have the mashed sweet potatoes. I can click serve alternate. I can pick another starch like a organic, here's quinoa or organic pasta, right? I literally, I can click on chives mashed potatoes.
Yeah, we're looking
Boom.
at the app right
Click
now. And
save
it's
changes.
so easy. There's all the choices. There's all the images. It looks delicious.
I can say, hey, I want to have an appetizer. Click the appetizers, and then boom, I can go right here and say I want to have shrimp cocktail, and I just click.
You have so many choices
Oh my
too.
God,
I mean,
it's
the entire
ridiculous.
screen is like filled
Click
up
shrimp
with
cocktail.
everything.
Click save changes. It automatically puts that in my menu on that spot. If I don't want that dish, then I just click serve alternate on the dish, and then I can choose between daily specials. Beef
Where are
and
you
pork.
located? Like, where, you know, we have people from all over the world. Where can people access this?
Well, sunfare.com, sunfare.com. But we're in Los Angeles and Arizona.
Los Angeles
So,
and Arizona. All right.
But it's really cool because I can say, hey, man, I want to have chicken piccata. If I don't want that, I can get Adolfo's Crazy Chicken, which is like chicken on the bone. I can get black pepper New York steak, popular one with the guys.
You have to see this, dude. The food looks just
It's
incredible.
ridiculous. Yeah. Chicken marsala. I can get herb grilled salmon. I can get I eat herb grilled salmon with a cup of brown rice and a cup of vegetables every day for lunch. When I get tired of that one, I get the herb grilled sea bass as my backup, right, for my lunch.
That's
So,
your two go-to.
I'm simple. Those are my. That's my.
And you
recipe.
keep it the size
Those
of your
are my
hands.
two.
You keep
right,
it the size
right.
of your hand. Yeah.
And but I keep it simple. My kid's favorite fish dish, jerk whitefish. Our Kobe burgers, ridiculous.
Yeah.
So everything you do, and then you just click save changes, it puts it automatically in the system. So we're technology based, and it's cool because it's automated like that. But then crazy stuff that you didn't think about back in the day, you didn't sign up online and put in your credit card and do all that stuff, and you weren't able to make all your changes to your account 20 years ago like you do now, right? So if you want to turn yourself on and off, we have to do that. So like we're up constantly having to upgrade stuff. If you want to change your credit card number, we have to do that because that technology didn't exist back then. And then that's not something, so we upgraded on certain technologies, but then you're always having to do more.
It's amazing to me how much you have to be a master of so many things, right, as a business owner. And it seems like, who would have thought you would be a technologist in some sense, food, communicator, sales, athletes. Like, you have to be good at all of these things.
And then it turns into a delivery business, right? Because you gotta make it efficient. So we have to deliver. We deliver between 8 o'clock at night and 5 in the morning, so there's no traffic on the road.
Right.
So we can make our stops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the most efficient manner. Here's what we used to do: we delivered the food during the day in bags. Except you didn't wake up till 10 o'clock, so you wanted your food after 10. And we also came to the same building, and you got up. You got to go to work. You got to leave before 8. So we got to be there before 8 for you, and then we got to come back after 10 for you. And it was a joke. So
How many delivery people do you have?
we got 22 vans that go out every night.
22 vans.
Yeah. So if you're from downtown through Beverly Hills and into Santa Monica, that's the most dense delivery area. You could be 80 stops in that van. That guy's hustling, right? But if you're going to Orange County or Calabasas or Thousand Oaks, you're going to drive 250 miles, but you might only have 45 stops. Yeah. So you got a little space in between them.
So cool.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man. I got one more question. How does, I don't know, I just randomly thought about this. How does a romaine lettuce recall impact your business right now?
Let me tell you, lettuce, all the rest of the lettuce, iceberg, quadrupled in price.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's tough because, listen, we had the fires, and a lot of people didn't even know. I was calling people when the fires hit and saying, hey, I know we're not going to be able to deliver to you. I'm going to turn your account off, and I'd talk to people, and they go, listen, if you get up there, I don't know if I have a house or not. Let me know. So I was going back and forth with people just to see if they even had a house. But, we lost, a lot of business because people were displaced. I had people that were displaced staying at my house because of the fires. And, but then you have that lettuce recall, and then you have, just crazy stuff that happens that you don't think much of. But, you can't get avocados right now.
Yeah.
But our clients don't know that. So I use 2 or 3 different produce companies because we have to get the best product, and they expect us to have it all the time.
Right.
And I want to come from a place of yes. I don't want to call them and say, hey, sorry, we don't have any romaine. Now, we don't have romaine, and we're subbing it with different lettuces, but all of the other lettuces have shot up.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they'll jam you any way they can.
Right. Wow. And so you also have this like food like inventory management.
Right.
I mean, you're just a master of, you have to be a master of so many
Yeah.
things in your business.
Yeah, it comes, there's a lot of moving parts. And that's hard sometimes for people to understand, because you're telling one person something, and then I have to communicate that to you. We have to tell the delivery department. We've got a person who boxes the meal, right? We have another person who bags the meal. We have another person who delivers the meals. So there's a lot of moving parts. And I can have a delivery mistake, or I can have there's a lot of different spots, but for the customer, it's just a mistake, right? Hey, maybe it was an office mistake. A button didn't get clicked, and somebody didn't get added on correctly, right? So they got their first day, but they didn't get their second day. There's all kinds of things that can happen, and the client just sees it as a mistake, right? But you just, and that's where the relationship part of it comes from. If I have a relationship with you and something goes wrong, you're going to call me and we're going to talk about it, and you're going to give me the opportunity to fix it because you know somebody, right? If I don't have a relationship with you, you're going to feel like a number, and hey man, this didn't really work out for me, and I'm just going to quit.
Yeah. You take the call.
I take the call
You take the call.
all day long, and that's how it translates in the world.
Yeah. Carl, thank you so much for being here. I mean, I feel like this was incredibly informative, and tell people where to find you.
So you can find us at sunfair.com. We're at Sunfair on social media. I am Carl at Sunfair on social media.
I love it.
Carl AT Sunfair.
Not hard to find.
Yeah, super simple, but sunfair.com. And I'm all about. I thank you, number one, because he called me and said, hey, I want to get food for my sister. So I set his sister up for a year. She ate her food while she was at Pepperdine. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to have a basketball draft class probably next year. And a year later, he calls me back. He didn't have a basketball draft class. He had like 14 guys. He had half the draft. Okay. Like they killed it. And I had no idea it was going to go down like that. And we were talking about Kevin Love, ISEE is who they are, but they had Kevin Love and Chandler Parsons. So I was feeding those guys, Abreu for the White Sox.
Yeah.
Jose Abreu. So, that's how I knew them when I got there. But, man, they're studs.
Yeah. Well, we're so thankful to have you, the man behind all of the athletes' stomachs. I mean, it's amazing. Cool. Well, I appreciate it. And, we'll be coming to you again soon.
I appreciate it.